Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be bringing to you my Imperial guide for Star Wars Legion for what to buy when on a budget. 2023 edition. This is going to be my rundown of maybe your first couple of purchases if you are getting into Star Wars Legion and you are looking to learn the game, play the game, and really are a little overwhelmed. There's a lot out there. There's multiple formats of the game. We've got a new format that's coming out soon. There's also skirmish. There's also lots of like homebrew formats. You can play on Tabletop Simulator. You can play in person. All these other things. So I'm going to be talking about playing the real game in person. Getting your building stuff together, painting these models, getting them out there on the tabletop. What do you need to get to do that? Now, obviously, there are hobby tools. I've got other videos talking about sort of that sort of stuff, and I'll put some links towards the end of the video, which you can check those out if you're looking to get into this, like if this is your first hobby game. But if it's not your first hobby game and you just really want to figure out what do I need to get started and what should be some of the first things that I get, I'm going to bring to you my list for 2023. Now, I'm making this in February, so there are going to be some things that come out after this, and that maybe that won't be potentially included. We've got Moff Gideon coming out any day now, and he's got his own battle force, and the the Dark Troopers are coming out too, and all of that stuff, and that's a little bit more new tech, and so I'm really not recommending any of the most brand new stuff right now, but I'm recommending some things that are going to kind of help people get started and things that I think are also a good value as it applies to getting into Star Wars Legion. Now, some of these will be expensive items, and of course, getting into a new miniatures game isn't really cheap. Now, obviously, you could certainly start off with the Spec Ops and that sort of kill team format, but that's not finalized yet, and I'm really not focusing on that. I'm really focusing on the core game in today's video. If you guys are new here to the channel, we do giveaways all the time. We've got one going on right now for a $25 Amazon gift card to help get yourself an expansion of your choice. If you're interested in entering to win that, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. And if you don't win, don't worry, we do more giveaways all the time. Plus, sometimes there's giveaways in Discord as well. Links are in the description below. Also want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Amazing full metal tokens compatible with Star Wars Legion. Also, they have tokens compatible with other games like Star Wars X-Wing or Magic the Gathering. You can check them out over at luxuryplaystyle.com. These are some of the best tokens you are ever going to see, folks. They're absolutely fantastic. They are beautiful. They're double-sided. They're heavy. They're metallic. They're going to make you want to play your games more. And I use them in my games. I think they're wonderful. You can save 15% by using code Crabbok VIP. They make great gifts, they make great tournament support, and they make you really enjoy your games even that much more. So check them out over at luxuryplaystyle.com. All right, so with today's video, I'm going to start off with basically the core set for Star Wars Legion. Now, this is an optional version. There's a couple of different starting avenues. Obviously, if you are thinking of getting into the game, you probably want to pick a faction first. If you're on a budget, a lot of people don't really pick just one faction. They might pick multiple factions. But if you're on a budget, you're probably going to want one faction. And the core set was the first starting place for a lot of us. A lot of things have changed. Some of the rules in the core set have changed. I definitely suggest you head over to atomicmassgames.com and check out the new Legion rules documents, as well as all of the erratas and all of the documents that are there. However, the core set still provides a number of excellent things, and I want to talk about what you're really getting in the core set, because it's still a great value. Now, the price has gone up over time. Inflation is a thing. Costs of shipping have gone up. Lots of things like that have all happened. So it's $120 for this core set. Now, this core set does not offer a full standard game's worth of an army. It gives you kind of a smaller army, but for two different factions. So you'll both be getting Rebels and Empire in the core set. Some players will split a core set with someone else. You can also split the cost this way. And that's an option. Or if you are looking to play, like maybe at home with a friend or family member, you can absolutely use this to learn the game and have an army for both of you. So again, great value in this core set, and it's bringing a very thematic experience. It's Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker in the core set. It's very, very cool. So you're getting a number of miniatures. You're getting Darth Vader, you're getting Luke Skywalker, you're going to get 2 whole units of Stormtroopers, 2 whole units of Rebel Troopers, a Rebel ATRT, and a unit of 2 74Z speeder bikes. It's 1 unit, but there's 2 minis in there for the Empire. So for your Imperial stuff, you're getting Darth Vader, you're getting 2 units of Stormtroopers, you're getting 2 speeder bikes. Maybe your Rebel stuff you can trade off to a Rebel player for more Imperial stuff, or you can keep these also if you're either eventually thinking about possibly starting another faction, or B, you want to have another army for somebody to play against you. Or you're doing anything like that. Plus, you're getting all of your dice, and you're getting your command cards. You're getting a lot of stuff to get started with the game. I'm using Asmodee's website right here just to kind of show you everything that you're getting. You're getting your movement tools. You're getting dice. All of that stuff. The rules in there are going to be a little outdated. They're based on when the game first came out, but that's enough to kind of teach you the basics. Then definitely head over to Asmodee, or rather atomicmassgames.com, and check out the official rules. It's a good starting point. It won't get you enough to have a full build there. Some people, back in the day, people used to buy 2 core sets because you're still getting a lot of stuff at a decent value, especially if you're splitting. If you have a friend who also wants to get into this, you can split core sets, and you can buy multiples of those, or you can use it to trade some things out. Sometimes you'll get an extra Darth Vader if you do that. It's not always the greatest way to go, but it's an option. But there's a lot better options also. So another option that is a great starting place is the Blizzard Force Battle Force box. This is an option for you to start out with if you don't want to do the core set. Now, it's a little more expensive. But you're getting a lot more for just the Empire. So, now, this is maybe a little bit more advanced. You don't have to play it as Blizzard Force, but if you want to get a little bit more of a thematic Hoth type of list, you could pick up something like this. Now, I will say that this is also worth investing in if you already have a core set. Now, this would, of course, increase your purchase price significantly, but you're getting very little overlap with the core set. In this box, the only real thing you're going to have that's an overlap is an extra Darth Vader. So if we take a look at what we're getting here, you're getting the same Darth Vader you get in the core set, but you're going to be getting some snowtroopers, right? You're going to be getting 3 units of snowtroopers, 2 more units of 74Z speeder bikes, and an ATST. This big honkin' ATST, you're going to be getting this thing. It's really cool, and of course you're going to be getting Darth Vader also. You're going to be getting the Blizzard Force cards. There's like a special Stormtrooper unit that goes in Blizzard Force, but you're not getting any Stormtroopers in this box. So I think the assumption was a lot of people already have Stormtroopers, or you can buy extra Stormtrooper units if you want. You can do either one as a starting point, or you can do both. Not everybody's going to be able to afford both. And if you're starting here, you're going to get a lot more. You're going to have like a full build for the Empire, but you're also going to need the Essentials kit. The Essentials kit has all of the the extra little gameplay things that come, in the game that you wouldn't have otherwise. So all of your tokens and all of that kind of stuff is going to be in the Essentials kit. There's also a few cards and things like that in there. But the Essentials kit is ideally if somebody wants to buy a Battle Force box to start playing and not have everything that comes in an actual starter. This is going to have all the rest of the things you need to get playing that would otherwise have been in the starter. So if you do pick up a starter, you won't have to pick up an Essentials kit. But if you start with a Battle Force box, you'll have to start with an Essentials kit. So either one of these, I think, are great. They're both good values, especially when you look at how many miniatures and how much plastic you're getting in the box. And compare that to the price of buying them all separately. Really good value. Really, really good value in these Battle Force boxes. But also, the Battle Force boxes have had, across the board, there have been a lot of like errors, misprints, and things like that. So always refer to atomicmassgames.com to head over to Legion, and you can check the errata pages, and there's a lot of helpful documents that are there as well. So moving forward, like once you have the basics of your starter army, whether or not you started with the core set or you started with, the Blizzard Force box, which again, great value, really good value. You can definitely do both, but if you don't have like $300 to start the game with, then you probably only pick one or the other. This is certainly a little bit more of an expensive option, but I want to talk about some additional purchases that I think are going to be good. So we already talked about the Essentials kit. You won't really need that if you have the core set. I think there's some additional expansions, and again, the extra expansions are much cheaper. They add a little bit of depth and complexity to your lists. So I want to talk about Imperial Specialists. This is a fantastic box. It has 4 different minis in it. The price point is still really low. You're getting different personnel options that can go in your core units. So your stormtroopers, your snowtroopers, whatever it is that you're starting with, or both, as well as other core options that exist in the game. These are going to be able to augment those and give you different ways to build those existing core options. Plus, your leader, your Imperial officer that comes in here, can augment like a stormtrooper unit. They can also run as a generic commander and give you a whole different commander option as well. And for this price point, you're getting a whole bunch of different list build options, as well as some extra miniatures that can, in the case of the officer, that can run as her own unit, or for everybody else there, for the other 4, like the comms tech and the little astromech and then the medical droid. The medical droid too, incredibly great to be able to heal people, like healing Darth Vader after if he's taken too many wounds. It's really useful to have. So again, Imperial Specialists, excellent purchase to make. Next up, in a similar vein, the Star Wars Legion Imperial Stormtrooper upgrade. Now, this is just a great purchase, especially if you started with a core set and you have Stormtroopers. If you started with the Blizzard Force box and you hadn't picked up any Stormtroopers, you're probably going to want at least 1 unit of Stormtroopers. You've got this new elite version of a Stormtrooper that can only run in Blizzard Force, and this will give them even more options as well. But what I like about this unit, it comes with a Stormtrooper unit card, so you could run them as a Stormtrooper unit, but really what you're getting here is different options to augment existing Stormtroopers and give you a lot more build options. You combine these two together, you have 1,000,001 ways to build out Stormtroopers, and you're also getting, again, 4 minis for only $24.99. That's a pretty good value. I definitely recommend it. Next up, and a really cheap option, is the upgrade card pack. It's $9.95. It's giving you a whole bunch of different upgrades to help you out. And one of the cool things about the upgrade card pack, the first upgrade card pack, is there are other upgrade card packs, but this one is just called the upgrade card pack, otherwise known as sometimes upgrade card pack number 1. This one is just got a lot of upgrade cards that exist in the game in other places, but maybe were only available like in a different faction, or it just came out with the same time that the Clone Wars started to come out, and it has certain cards. And I recommend everybody pick up an upgrade card pack if they're on a budget and don't want to have to buy every expansion to get all of those those upgrade cards that only came with this guy, or the upgrades that only came with that one, or it has some new stuff that came out in the Clone Wars core set that wasn't available to the Rebels and the Empire at that point. So it's just going to give you a lot more things that can go into your existing units and new ways to customize your army. And for that price point, it's a really great buy. Moving forward a little bit, if we wanted to try a different core option, my favorite core is the Imperial Shore Troopers. It's $34.99 for this box. You're getting a number of different Shore Trooper units. You're also getting the mortar. So you're actually getting 2 units in one box. You have the Shore Troopers themselves with their own heavy and personnel upgrades, and you can build them out. They're a very effective unit. But you have the mortar, which is sort of like an extra heavy for them, but it's a detachment, and it has a whole separate unit card. And so you're really getting 2 different units in one box for this particular expansion. Really great value, great unit as well. And these guys are also part of the new Imperial Remnant Battle Force. I talk a little bit about some of the new things that are going to be coming out. Moff Gideon is coming out very soon. It may already be out by the time that you watch this video. And of course the Imperial Dark Troopers, and that's part of this new Imperial Remnant Battle Force that's coming out. That one won't have a Battle Force box, but it'll kind of make use of you having a kind of a wide Imperial list of different stuff that goes into that Battle Force already. And again, it's a little bit more of an advanced Battle Force. Not something I would recommend to a new player for their first game of Legion, but this is kind of a good long-term investment, because there's a lot of ways to use these guys, and they go into a lot of different types of lists. So very cool stuff. Next up, if you're thinking about adding some different commanders, I mean, you already have, if you're following this list at this point, you probably already have Darth Vader. And you probably already have an Imperial officer, because if you got that Imperial Specialists pack, you've got a little bit of options. But here's a really, really great and super fun commander. Emperor Palpatine is insane, and how powerful he is, as well as how deadly he is. Really, really solid commander. I think he's always going to be good. Always does really well. Can even pair very, very well with Vader, although he doesn't have to. He's great on his own. He works pretty well with the Imperial Royal Guard, but outside of running with Palpatine, Imperial Royal Guard don't always really need to be run. They're actually not even on this list. They're an option, though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I'm not bringing to you the order of which you should buy everything. I'm just bringing to you some things to get you started, and we're probably about halfway through the list at this point. Next up, I want to talk about Inferno Squad. I really like the Inferno Squad build. There's a whole lot. First off, the Imperial Special Forces units you're getting in here. You're getting two different types of units. You're getting the Inferno Squad unit and the generic Imperial Special Forces, so you can run them kind of as an elite unit with unique members, or more of a generic unnamed Special Forces folks. You're also getting some special Gideon Hask and Del Meeko miniatures, and they can also go into existing units, like they can go into snowtroopers, and they can go into outside of Blizzard Force, but they can go into like a lot of different units. They can't go into Imperial Remnant, for example. But in your regular Imperial builds, they can totally, they can run Imperial Special Forces, so they can go help out the regular troops. So you're getting a lot of different ways to use these, and it's a pretty effective unit. So I really like the Imperial Special Forces, but this may be a little bit of my own bias sneaking in there, and that's okay. I admit that I have my own bias. That's why I'm just making recommendations. Feel free to make your own recommendations too. That's one of the things that the comment section is good for. Also, so is our Discord. It's great for discussing those things or asking questions as well. And if you pick up the Imperial Special Forces, I'd also definitely strongly recommend picking up Iden Versio. Excellent commander. She can also potentially run as an operative. She comes with her little ID 10, little droid here, and she's just super, super, super groovy. She really synergizes very well if you're running Inferno Squad, and she's one of my favorite commanders. She is very, very good. And it has a couple of different build options, too. She can be a really nice sniper and also a close-range threat. Talking about some nice value in boxes, the Legion IG Series Assassin Droids is one of the newer expansions. Again, we're kind of at the midpoint here, so hopefully you've already picked up your first couple of things. Maybe you've played a couple of games now, and you want to try something a little bit different. There have been some changes. You won't see Boba Fett on this list, but I'll talk about him more a little bit later. But there's mercenaries. Bounty hunters have kind of gone through some changes. Bosk and Boba Fett exist, and they've kind of been errated and changed to be mercenaries. And now this is the first mercenary expansion I'm going to potentially suggest. Now, there's cool things in here. If you're playing multiple factions, you're getting, IG-11 can be run as Rebels or Empire, whereas IG-88 is also in here. He's only Empire. But the cool thing is you're getting two nasty little dudes in here. It's very cool. You have some options. You got IG-88 or IG-11, and it has enough parts in here to be able to build both miniatures, which is a very cool thing to be able to do. So I know it is not as cheap as some of the other individual, like Palpatine was only 19, paying a little bit more for here. But you are getting two different models, two different units that have slightly but similar different play styles. A classic, an oldie but a goodie, General Veers has always been a very solid commander option, also very recognizable, especially if you're going back to the Battle of Hoth. Also, if you start out with Blizzard Force, I think General Veers is a great option because he's going to work well with vehicles, as well as just being a great supportive commander. I think he's always been really, really fun without being overpowered. He's solid, I'd say, is a good way to describe General Veers. He's a very solid commander without being too expensive either. If you're getting a little bit more advanced in your games, you're getting more and more games under your belt, I think it's also at this point it's worth considering some of the Battlefield expansions for Star Wars Legion. There are a lot of what they call Battlefield expansions, and these are mostly expansions that have some kind of terrain. in them, and not all of them are things that I would recommend players on a budget buy, because like the crashed X-wing is a scenario. You know, the bunker is a scenario. The downed ATST is a scenario, like, well, with the terrain pieces. But there are two of these battlefield expansions that, while they do have some terrain pieces, they're about more than that, right? You're getting like these different things. You're getting like these bomb carts and these bombs and these crates and these supply crates and these hostage miniatures and things like that. But you're also getting these different battle cards. You're getting different conditions, objectives, and deployments, and you're getting quite a bit of those that are really going to change up the way you play the game. And your terrain bits in here apply specifically to those. Of course, you can use them however you want, but they're going to really fundamentally work with those new objectives, conditions, and deployments, and that's one of the things that makes this so cool. After you've played with the basic battle cards that come in the core set, here, this is a great way to enhance and expand upon the key missions in the game, and that's what makes this a really good kind of intermediate buy. Similarly, Priority Supplies is another Battlefield expansion. This was the first one that added new battle cards. I put this one kind of secondly because while it does have some terrain and it has a new objective, condition, and deployment, it doesn't have as many as Vital Assets does. This one just has one new condition, one new deployment, one new objective. Although they are very popular objectives. The moisture evaporators that come in here, it's a very popular mission. Works well for a lot of different of missions. So it's a very popular pack, and it's a good one to have, but you're not getting as much. But it's as you start getting more competitive and playing more and more games, this is a great one to spice up your games. I want to talk about a couple more units out there. The Scout Troopers are a pretty interesting special forces unit. It's got two different ways you can run. You can run them as a whole unit, or you can run them as a strike team. And if you're running them as a strike team, they're going to be like a sniper or basically a satchel bomber with its detonate keyword, and you can basically drop little bombs all over the place and mines and kind of wait for people to get closer and then blow them up. Which is cool. Or you can just run them shooty style. But these guys are good. The snipers are, have seen a little bit of changes to their gameplay with the recent rules changes, but snipers are still, I think, an important part of Star Wars Legion. And the Scout Troopers also are one of those units that are just, I think they're very canonical. They're very recognizable. I think people are going to enjoy painting them, especially if you're a fan of the original trilogy. Scout Troopers are huge for that. But also, they're also part of the new Imperial Remnant Battle Force. They're also one of the units that's featured in some of the new Spec Ops stuff. So there's a whole lot of different ways to use these guys, and while they're older models, they're still pretty cool. If you've already got Darth Vader and you want to try enhancing your Darth Vader gameplay, there's a Darth Vader Operative pack that you might want to look at. This is a pretty cool pack because it allows you to run a younger, like Jedi Hunter version of Darth Vader. This is a version of him that kind of represents the time in between Episode 3 and Episode 4, where he's hunting down the Jedi. And while he's maybe a little bit less experienced and slightly less deadly, I think he has like one less die on his lightsaber, he comes in as an operative, not trying to command troops, but just to go out and be that sort of a Sith assassin. And he also comes with 3 new Darth Vader command cards that you can totally use with your existing Darth Vader. So you can use Darth Vader Commander and also use operative Darth Vader's command cards, and making your existing Darth Vader even more powerful. And so I think this is a great option after you've played a number of games with Darth Vader and are looking to expand on his power, or to try to run the operative version of Darth Vader. You can also use Commander Darth Vader's command cards here too, so you can mix and match and really have a more customizable Darth Vader here. Imperial Death Troopers have always been really cool. I'm definitely recommending them. They're also one of those units that are being allowed to be used in the Imperial Remnant, which I think gives them a little bit more versatility and a little bit more value. They've seen some increases to the way they were originally printed out. When there's a named Death Trooper in there that now has 2 health, and if you were one of the first people to pick one up, you wouldn't have had that correction on the card. And so always refer to the errata. Go to atomicmassgames.com. But they're really cool miniatures. I mean, if anybody who saw Rogue One or a lot of Star Wars media since then have seen Death Troopers, they're awesome. They're pretty deadly. And they synergize really well with Director Krennic, so if you pick them up, maybe Krennic is another option you want to do. Although Krennic isn't as crucial outside of that, he's still a decent commander, but I really like the Death Troopers, and I think they got a little more value than they used to. I'm getting to like the bottom of the barrel here. I want to throw in Din Djarin for good measure. He's especially a good value right now. He's currently out of stock, right? First off, he's the Mandalorian, so a lot of people just want to have the Mandalorian. He's super cool. It comes with Grogu. If you're playing Empire, though, you won't be able to use Grogu. Din Djarin is dual faction. He can run in the Rebels or the Empire. Now, I think that gives him additional value for some of you. If you're, if you bought that core set and you want to have somebody that can also run in the Rebels, hey, you might already have IG-11, but here's another option, right? Din Djarin can be run in the Rebels, but he can also be run for the Empire. Might build him differently, depending on how you want to do that. But I thought that that's a pretty cool option because you're getting some cool stuff. You're getting 2 different versions of Grogu as well, so you're actually getting 3 miniatures, or maybe like 2.5 or so. I mean, or 1.5. I don't know. Din Djarin's a really good miniature, but then you get 2 little mini Grogus. Depending on how you want to build him out, which is a pretty cool thing. So I thought that was cool. And lastly, I talked a little bit about Boba Fett before. If you, again, and you should totally, by the way, regardless of whatever I say here, you should totally get the things that you think are cool, because at the end of the day, you need to have fun with these games, and these games are fun, and you should, I wouldn't suggest getting into this with a win at all costs. I need the best list. I need the most competitive meta-breaking list right away. As you're learning the game, just have fun with it, because it is a really fun game, and it plays well competitively, but it also plays really well casually, so you can really enjoy all aspects of this game. So if there's something you really like from Star Wars canon, go for it and throw my suggestions. There's lots of other really big things. There's big vehicles. There's the Gav tank from Rogue One. There's lots of other cool stuff you can get. You buy a standalone ATST if you don't want to get Blizzard Force. Lots of other cool stuff like that. But follow your heart, right? So I'm just here giving you one point of view. I think the rule of cool should ultimately be the bigger thing that guides you. And if that did guide you and you wanted to check out Boba Fett or Bosk or other bounty hunters, right? They have their own expansions, but I want to steer you towards the Star Wars Legion Card Pack 2. This one adds a lot of stuff to all the different factions, and so it's a better value the more factions you play. This also came out around the time that the Shadow Collective came out. Has some cards that also work with the Shadow Collective. It's probably a little bit better of a value if you're a Shadow Collective player also, which is something you may, especially if you like the bad guys, you may want to check out, like Lord Maul leading his Mauldalorians and Pikes and Black Sun and all that cool stuff, because some of that stuff can also be run in the Empire as well. Black Sun and the Pikes can totally come over and help out the Empire also. So there's a lot of like Shadow Collective overlap. But in addition to cards that help Shadow Collective, there's also a lot of stuff that is going to come into here to help you run mercenaries, things like Boba Fett, new cards. Like basically Boba Fett's been kind of buffed up a little bit. So if you bought the old Boba Fett was like a really bad unit, and he's gotten a lot better. He's worth considering. There's even a new Rebel version of Boba Fett that has new command cards that Imperial Boba Fett can use, but at that point it becomes expensive, and that's why I kind of keep all of this towards the end of the video, because like if you wanted to run Boba Fett in the Empire, to make him like work, you would need to buy like 3 different expansions to make one miniature like run optimally. You'd need your updated Boba Fett unit card from here, technically for tournament reasons, right? You'd need your actual Boba Fett expansion. Then you need the Rebel Boba Fett to get the new command cards. And so it's like it just becomes this big convoluted thing where that's maybe better for down the line, right? And so it's again not one of my first options for what to buy first if you're on a budget, but I thought it was worth mentioning that this is out there, and you are getting a lot of cards in here, but it's a better value if you're more interested in mercs and looking at other factions as well. So that is my list of what to buy first on a budget for 2023. Obviously, there'll probably be some new things that come out after this. that we haven't even seen much about the Ewoks yet, or whatever else is going to be coming out at that point. There may be more things. But always stay tuned and check out. If you like this video and you want to see more things like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing all of the other factions as well, and we'll be having a good time doing it. Be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section. Also, jump over in our Discord and let me know what you think there. And if you want to check out the other links in there, we got links for social media, Crabbok.com for the free Legion AI system, as well as Patreon. So if you want to help support the channel, you can do that. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. So I want to thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you soon. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. You can't take the sky from me, and cowabunga. Thundercats, ho!